Thursday night, not a Wednesday night. Life does life, unfortunately, and circumstances were circumstancing, if I may. But thank y'all very much for waiting and tuning into another live episode of Reporting Eligible. I'm your boy Berto, joined by my co-host Bro Talk. As you already know, man, the duo, the tandem, reporting eligible. As always, welcome everybody. And I always and kindly ask that you please like and subscribe to the channels. Myself, 95 North Falcons Talk Show. My guy, BK underscore or at Dirty Bird Central on YouTube. And also, we're going to start the show with some breaking news out of Atlanta. The search is done. We got our guy, man. Ian Cunningham, man. Ian Cunningham is the guy, the front runner from the beginning. As we all know, the Falcons did, go through a roster of, GM candidates. And we've always heard it from the beginning, man, that Ian Cunningham was going to be the next general manager of the Atlanta Falcons, but so many late guys were emerging. The guy from the Texans, the 49ers, and ultimately Ian Cunningham was the guy. Your thoughts right quick on Ian Cunningham finally being named Falcons GM.
I mean, how many times have we said, get a guy that has a plethora of experience through winning organizations, and that's what Ian Cunningham is. Ozzie Newsome, Eric DaCosta, Howie Roseman, and now
yes, sir.
We can laugh a little bit, chuckle about Ryan Poles, but he was a part of that rebuild. They were in the playoffs. They won a division title. They were in the divisional round. They nearly came away with that win and almost made the NFC Championship game. So I think this was the right hire. We talked about it. That was all the reports. Like, he is the front runner. And like you said, we started seeing these names pop up, like, oh my gosh, okay, there are some good guys out there. And I think it took them a little while longer because these other guys made them think, like, do we want to be quick on this? And that's why Matt was like, hey, we're going to take our time. But Ian Cunningham, I don't think there's a better guy. I think I saw someone put out there, he turned down the Arizona GM job 3 years ago. And to come into this franchise, cap situation, right? You got to make some tough decisions. You got to open up the books. No first-round pick. That tells you what he believes that Matt Ryan and the Falcons are doing, working with Kevin Stefanski and the current roster of players. So I think overall, the offseason's off to a great start.
This is an offseason where obviously, we jettisoned the old regime, and it feels like we immediately got better, not just with Matt Ryan named as the new president, but obviously the vibe that Kevin Stefanski was giving at his press conference, which we'll touch on in just a few minutes. But bringing in Ian Cunningham, a guy that's been around the league, for quite some time, and you named some pillars in this GM world, and Ozzie Newsome, Eric DaCosta, hell, even Howie Roseman. Ian brings a championship pedigree because with both organizations, he was able to win Super Bowl. So he knows what it takes to build championship rosters. I think he was well on his way in Chicago doing so, putting that, those draft classes together, giving Ben Johnson, the players that he needs for his system, respectfully. I'm excited to see what he does here in Atlanta, where he's going to do the plus and minuses in terms of the roster, where he sees that, most of our cap space should be going into. Other decisions, obviously, and like that need to be made. But I love the collaboration portion of it because, like Matt said in the introductory press conference with Kevin, the GM, the decisions are going to be made between Matt himself and the GM, and that's awesome. That's exactly how you put a brain trust together and spearhead the organization into the right direction. Before, I don't think we seldom heard from Terry Fontenot. I feel like Ian, we might hear a little bit more from. Maybe it's just a voice or a presence overall that we need to see. So us as the fan base, as Falcon fans, can feel a little bit better seeing where the Falcons feel like they need to go in 26, man.
Yeah, the comments are flooding in, and a couple right?
Point him out.
He's from Roswell, Georgia, grew up a Falcons fan. So now he gets to GM the team he grew up. That's like a lifelong dream
beautiful, man.
For anyone, right?
Absolutely.
And congratulations, right? Lifelong dream for anyone. and a former offensive lineman.
Ooh, man, doesn't that
He
make
knows?
Where's Bones?
He's in there. That's who the first person. This man was crying in my comments, tears of joy
Yeah,
because of who
baby.
he hired. That just tells you the trenches, both offensively and defensively, is going to be a focal point. He saw it in Chicago, a complete 180 year to year, right?
Yep.
And then the Eagles, right? They won their Super Bowl mainly because of their trenches and the effect they had on the rest of the team. And then same thing with the Ravens teams of old, right? They always had solid offensive lines and defensive fronts. So it's really exciting going into the draft, going into free agency. Now you kind of like, okay, like this is the type of person, we can start salivating and start kind of creating, these paths that we might go on. So it's really exciting, honestly. And I think, kudos to Matt Ryan, right? First time people doubted him. Kevin Stefanski, Ian Cunningham, maybe those are the faces.
Cunningham. Absolutely, man. I think about the Ravens, and Marshall Yonder was one of their better offensive linemen, man. Just the name itself, I love it. And, I think to the guards that we have here with Matthew Bergeron and Chris Lindstrom, I think Chris Lindstrom reminds me a little bit more of the style of physicality that Marshall Yonder brought for those Baltimore Raven offensive lines in those respected years. So, yeah, overall, man, it's a win. Not necessarily does it mean there's going to be an overhaul at the offensive line position, but I think Ian coming in and really seeing the roster or the talent may hint at him wanting to maybe overhaul a position or two along the interior of this Falcons offensive line or the bookends. So, overall, hey, look, man, it's a win-win. Matt Ryan is building this team structurally sound and with a clear vision, which the vision will prompt us into talking about the Kevin Stefanski, press conference. I'm sure you saw it like most people did. A lot of good nuggets, a lot of tidbits there that you kind of get you excited and get you going, wanting and wishing that the season would start tomorrow. But one thing that stuck out to me was this is where he wanted to be. Atlanta is where he wanted to be. He set his sights on being in Atlanta. Now, out of all the teams that had head coaching availabilities and whatnot, I think a quick turnaround in Atlanta could be had, and we'll touch on some shocking news that we heard from our QB1 in a little bit. But Stefanski right now, the most logical fit for this organization. The vision is clear. This is where he wanted to be, and one thing I took away also. When asked about his coaching time in with Cleveland, Kelly Price asked him the question, and he kind of just went around with it. You got to navigate through tough times, and at the end of the day, I benefit because I become a better coach. Mm-hmm. So I feel like just with that, we're going to get the best version of Kevin Stefanski going forward. But some takeaways that you like from the press conference.
Yeah, I love everything he had to say because tough times make tough people, right? If everything was smooth sailings, is that person really going to grow? Something he touched on, always having a growth mindset. How can he continue to improve? A maniac for development. So many, we expect the buzzwords at the press conference, but it felt like he truly believed it. I liked his demeanor and how he answered the questions. Very professional. And like you said, eager to go. He kept talking about Bijan. He's pretty good, right?
Pretty good.
first guy he messaged, right? And then Bijan called him the next morning, so he's excited. And they touched on the kind of the elephant in the room. Hey, QB1, who's it gonna be? And then he talked very highly of Michael Penix Jr. like we did last year, and he sees the type of quarterback that he can be. Now you have a head coach that is someone that developed a 5th round quarterback to be a Pro Bowler, right? Now you get your hands on a 1st round pick, someone with arm talent out of this world that needs some fine tuning. I think he was able to hit the nail on the head on all the questions that were asked, because the media was asking some tough questions to him, and I think he answered them very, very well. I love the fact that he talked about the type of football team. We got to figure out who we are. I want to be a smart. I want to be a physical football team. I want to be sound. Like, there needs to be that clear vision, right? People have said it, and I agree. The past regime was like, this is who we want to be. We need to figure out who we are, this, that, and the other. And we never did. We could never figure out who the team was the past 2 years. But now you have a guy that clearly has a vision, and he's going to drive it home. And everything you hear out of Cleveland from the players, they didn't want him to go because that's the type of leader that he was in the building. And I know Raheem Morris was a player's coach too, but this guy was very well respected. And you have a future Hall of Fame quarterback that was in the game, seen various coaches throughout his time as an analyst, see the coaches throughout the entire league. And he narrowed in on Kevin Stefanski. It just got me hyped up just listening to him talk.
It did, and I think, you know, it just breathes a breath of fresh air into the organization, not only because Matt's back, but just, you know, Matt being a player that has gone through his ups and downs. Shout out that man, Avon, man. For those that don't know who Avon is, if you've been living on a freaking rock, man, make sure you go visit Avon on his YouTube channel. This young man is doing the Lord's work, did an incredible breakdown of Tommy Rees as a play caller, and on not just that, but on top of all the other topics that, you know, he breaks down. Phenomenal work by Avon, man. So please go subscribe to Avon on YouTube, man. But Matt Ryan, man, being a player that has been with Atlanta, you know, for a very long time, and he's witnessed the struggles, you know, the winning, you name it, right? For me, I think something strikes a chord with Matt Ryan during his early years with Mike Smith, because I think that's where he was the most successful, right? And when you talk about smart, tough, high competitive guys, I think of Mike Smith, and that right there alone gets me hyped, because those were the best seasons.
Show. You need to go with mom.
Okay, hold on 1 second, folks. Live TV, folks. You got to love it. But yeah, man, so back on to the Matt Ryan, right? So Matt Ryan, you know, being through it all with the organization, I think he, you know, something strikes a chord with him from that era, because really when he was coming up with Mike Smith, he was able to experience his wins and losses, more wins than anything. But the way that he talks, I just feel like he's stuck in that mindset, and you know, it's not going to be a bad thing. It's not going to be a bad thing. And this is, I mean, look, man, I'm running out of words to say. I'm just fucking excited that it's Matt Ryan running the show, and he has a say in it, man. Shout out Rod E, man, for the $4.99 bid. Really appreciate it, man. Granted, a lot of coaches talk like that in the first press conference on how they want to be a grind football team. That's a fact. Obviously, you got to talk to the masses being the media, the fans, and you got to try to sell yourself. But I think it's different with Stefanski. Stefanski has learned from so many other great coaches, and I think that he's not going to let this opportunity go by his hands. Right? He wanted to be in Atlanta. I think he wants to stake his claim that Atlanta made the right choice by taking Stefanski as coach, man.
Yeah, it's like we talked about. I mean, I think Kevin was probably in the worst possible situation in Cleveland, and that's where you really got to look in the mirror and talk to yourself and figure out how you can bring yourself out of it, right? He had to hear it from the media, right? Oh, Shador, and he had to just block out that noise and focus on, okay, I need to do my best to get this football team ready and get them ready to win, right? Dylan Gabriel, albeit we didn't think very highly of him, but that's who he was given, right?
Yeah,
that's who he was given. They traded Kenny Pickett, they traded Joe Flacco, the guy with a bunch of sexual assault issues, in the courts right now, tore his Achilles again, and then you got two rookie quarterbacks. So you go with the guy that you see in practice that's doing better. But of course, the media doesn't see that, and the media wants to spin the last name, and that's all the things he's just got to do this with the media. And then when it came down to it, he said, "You know what, Dylan, you're not performing. We need to go a different route and give Shador a chance, right?" And Shador had high moments, but Shador had very low moments as well. But like I touched on, he's a Pro Bowler now. What?
Shout out, Kerry, man.
Hey, listen, I'm boots on the ground, okay? I'm boots on the ground.
That's a fact. Thank you for the $4.99 donation. Really do appreciate it. Thank you so much. It's Bro Talk at Flowery Branch right now with the new setup, man. Laugh out. I hope all is well. Hope y'all are doing very well. Happy
Listen,
with Ian Cunningham hire. Any QB coach shouts?
listen. All I'm gonna say is, if you randomly see a picture of me walking down the hall, forget about it. Okay, don't even worry about what I'm doing in Flowery Branch.
Oh man.
But as far as quarterbacks, I think Ian's going to lean into, and Matt is too, like Kevin. Who do you think can we get the best out of? Because we're going to touch on it, right? But QB1 probably won't be ready for the beginning of the year, even though he wants to be, right? Who's going to be that guy? And I truly do think it's Kirk Cousins. But there's a but.
Easy. Okay.
They cut him. And when he sees the market isn't what it is for him, right? Because I'm looking at the teams who need a quarterback. Who's going to go after a Kirk Cousins, an older Kirk Cousins, a non-mobile Kirk Cousins, right? Not a lot of teams. I would be shocked if anyone gave him a huge deal. We touched on this, right? Father-in-law, Falcons fan, wife from Georgia. You just moved here a couple years ago, right? You would be incentivized to play on a cheaper deal, show that you can still play, right? Because last year was now you get in a system that you're familiar with, you're comfortable with, and now you show the league, kind of like Aaron Rodgers kind of bounced around the end of his career. Maybe he can do the same. But I know he wants to start, and if QB1's not ready for the beginning of the year, that's who I think we're really leaning into, because all the other guys we've talked about, they're under contract. You got to give up draft capital for that. And we've had enough of that, right? We only have 5 picks this year.
Yeah, but I get the sense that Ian's going to be a smarter man than I hate to say it and make it sound like that, because Terry Fontenot did his work as a GM as best as he could. I think he was just over aggressive at times trying to get his guy, like Arnold Ebiketie, or who was it, or Troy Anderson, Brooke Ororo, guys like that. The verdict is still out on Rook, but the other two guys mentioned, they kind of they flatlined, right? So I think Ian will probably be in the business of trading down versus trading up. Unless the Falcons are truly sold on a guy, I don't think the Falcons make a jump up, knowing that draft capital, is a premium right now. We don't have a lot of it, so I think we might be in the business of maybe moving back a couple picks to acquire more of them. But to the Michael Penix comments from earlier in the week, man, claiming he might be ready week 1, and that's a shocker, right? But even at that, in the press conference, Stefanski saying, hey, I saw him, he was doing squats. Are you serious? This guy just tore his fucking ACL, and this guy's already, he's already grinding. He's already attacking the rehab that aggressively. Man, you love to hear it. You would love to see it even more if he is ready, but really, should the Falcons be rushing him, to the forefront like that, man? We've seen setbacks in our very own guys. Braylon Trice this past year coming back from an ACL or some sort of knee injury. I don't know if I want to rush MPJ back that quick. So begs the question, as you were alluding to, do we run it back with Kirk? We already did the financial terms on it. We reduced the contract to make it team friendly for this year, obviously clearing the books. But ultimately, is he the best option for the Falcons right now? Because when you look at the pool of available QBs, I don't know, man. Are you going to pony up some money for Carson Wentz or Jimmy Garoppolo? I don't know, man. And I say those guys because they have the most familiarity with the system. Kevin O'Connell, Kevin Stefanski, they kind of run the same system. Sorry, not sexy names, but I'll give you a sexy name.
Oh God, here we go.
Davis Mills.
Okay, okay, let me ask you this, right? Because he's still under contract. What are you giving up for him?
I mean, future picks are still, they're more popular.
But is it a 1-year rental type deal? Are you willing to give up a 5th-round pick for a guy that may not be on your roster after 2026?
Absolutely. You know why? Because I'll learn from past times, right? Matt Schaub, we did it with Matt Schaub. Matt Schaub was able to come in after the whole Vic saga and was able to market himself and put up the best season he could. We got a 2nd-round pick for him, or a 1st-round, whatever it was. But I'm not saying we're going to get that for Davis. But if we can get a mid-round pick,
how are you going to get a mid-round pick for him if he's on the last year of his deal? You think?
All right. I see where you're going.
You see what I'm saying? You're willing to give up a 5th in 27 for a guy, yes, who will play and then be your backup, and then he's going to walk. You think he's going to resign? Probably not.
I mean, he resigned with Houston, and he knew that he wasn't going to get a chance to play. And we got one in the chat right now. Mac Jones. That's the most popular one right now. Mac Jones.
Yeah.
I don't know, man. I don't know. I think it would cause too much quarterback controversy if you ask me.
Let me
Mac
see.
Jones, man.
Mac Jones. Let me see what his cap hit is right now. What would it take?
Who? For Mills or for Mac?
No, for Mac. Mills is going to be dirt cheap. Okay, so for Mac, the accruing team, it's only, hey, you know what? 1.7?
Sheesh, man.
1.7 for the last year? What are you giving up for Mac? It's the same situation as Davis Mills.
Bang.
I think Davis Mills is cheaper.
Davis Mills will be cheaper. Yeah.
I think Davis Mills you could legitimately trade for, because I think Mac Jones, after the performance he had while when Brock Purdy was hurt, I think his value went up, right? Teams see that, and they're gonna, the 49ers are gonna be like, you want him, you gotta pay up, man.
Pony up, yep. And to Ava's point, he might want starter money too, because he does have Mac.
So for Davis Mills, we would actually have to eat $6.4 million. It's actually more than Mac Jones. Right now, until CJ gets his confidence back, right?
Yeah, right.
Someone we've linked, right? You want to make the connection is Jacoby Brissett, right? New regime in Arizona, right? It might be Mike LaFleur. It looks like Clint Kubiak's probably going to Las Vegas. It might be Raheem Morris apparently is a favorite over there, right?
Yeah. I mean, I'm sorry, I don't mean to stop you like this, but is Clint to the Raiders? Is that like enticing enough? I mean, I know Mendoza might be like the number one overall pick, but when you look at the roster as a whole, right, is Clint ready, coming off so much success that he's having with Seattle? Does that not affect where you go next? Like, you feel like, all right, I want to pick up kind of where I left off, so I kind of want to go to a pro ready-made team versus having to start over.
Let me ask you it this way.
Yeah, sure.
If you were a young coach, right, and people were doubting you, wouldn't you want to prove them wrong?
Oh no, absolutely.
And then you have Tom Brady, who's going to be in your ear.
Who's that guy?
Right? We're going to get to see a bunch of highlights next year. Don't forget. It's going to be the 10-year anniversary of you know what. Anyways,
overrated.
But it's enticing because you already have Ashton Genty, you have Brock Bowers, you have a couple young wide receivers, right? The defense is really where it needs to get handled, right? He needs to land a home run hire for his defensive coordinator, because as an offensive play caller, he can still call the plays and still worry about the team as a whole. And getting Fernando Mendoza, who ran a pro style offense, right? You fine tune the offensive line a little bit with some, hey, you never know, they could drop a bag on Tyler Linderbaum, someone that we want. Right?
Yeah,
that immediately elevates, right? They drafted some young offensive linemen, right? That I think they still have the GM, right? Spytek, right? He's still there.
Yep, he's still there.
So it's obviously guys he values. So I don't think they're very far off. And for Clint Kubiak, I thought it was going to be the Giants, because they were the most ready team, right? Couple pieces that were missing that you can make up in free agency or whatnot, but they didn't want a rookie head coach. They wanted someone with experience, a la John Harbaugh. Then I was like, oh, maybe we actually have a shot at Clint Kubiak. Well, then Matt's like, no, I don't want a rookie head coach. I want someone that knows how to run a football team. And then it just kept going down and down and down and down. And that's why the Raiders have held out, right? And then I think the Raiders will be very competitive in the AFC West. I think the AFC West is going to be the most competitive division in football next year, kind of like the AFC North was a couple years ago.
Valid point. Jay Black 142 with the $5 bid, man. Appreciate you supporting the channel. Good to have Berto and Bro Talk back. Rise up, brother. Thank you so much, man. Yeah, man. It's definitely always good, honest conversations when you have to talk about not just about your team, but you dabble into other teams and what they have going on. So you feel like the Raiders are going to be uh more ready than not, right, by next year. So that's cool. That's cool. That is
And I
cool.
did
So
forget Max Crosby. So my bad, Raiders fans, if you're in here.
yeah, yeah. Actually, there's a lot of folks in here, man. And shout out to everybody that is in the chat right now. Close to 600 eyes on the product, man. We definitely do appreciate you guys taking the time to come rock with us, man. But yes, a lot of Falcon news, as we all found out just a little bit ago. Falcons finally hired their GM. Ian Cunningham makes his way from the Bears now to Atlanta. Obviously, we reacted on the Kevin Stefanski press conference. A lot of good things to look forward to. Yeah, again, the Michael Penix comments from a few days ago, claiming that he may be ready by week one, definitely does throw a wrench in the plans for the Falcons, potentially in a good way, where they might not have to exhaust a lot, if any, resources into the QB1 spot or the QB spot overall for right now. If he's available. So we're going to further on before we talk about the retained coaches, which there's some good names, but we got to talk about the two coaches that we've brought in on two struggling areas that we had last year. And I don't mean struggling for the wide receiver spot because there wasn't any production. It was the coaching behind the scenes that, just was an eyesore. Obviously, we started the year off with Ike Hilliard, and then that drama unfolded right before our eyes. By week 3, he was gone by week 4. And then obviously Marquise Williams was abysmal all year on special teams. But we get a journeyman and Greg Ackerman that has been around the league for quite some time. He's had some stops. He's had a few stops, but the more recent one, he had a lot of success with a former Falcons kicker and Riley Patterson. And overall, that special teams unit finished 17th best. So Greg Augerman, 26 years of coaching experience around the NFL. He led the Miami to the 4th best field goal success rate, making 93% of it, and that was with Riley Patterson. As we all know, he was a late addition to the Falcons 2 years ago. So Greg Augerman now in with Atlanta. Maurice Williams is obviously out. Your take right quick on what you know about Greg and what you feel like he's going to bring to the special teams unit.
I don't know a whole lot about Craig other than what I've read and, kind of getting a quick, not in-depth look of his teams, of his units. But from what I've seen and read statistically, it's an upgrade, right? He's not the best guy, right? He's not the, oh my gosh, out of this world type of special teams coordinator, but who knows? Maybe he can be here. I know we need to upgrade at some special teams players, right? I think we'll get some guys, undrafted free agents, some guys through free agency. We invested heavily last year in special teams. It didn't pan out, right? So maybe it's just a matter of putting the guys in better situations. So I do look to see us improve in the special teams area. Now, we do have to figure out who's going to be kicking the ball for both punts and kicks because both of our kickers are free agents. Now, I would expect them to bring them both back, right?
Heck yeah.
Zane ended on a high note. I think he earned himself a contract, I would think, right? It's a new regime.
Absolutely.
So who knows what direction they go, but I think he earned himself a contract to return, at least a 1-year deal, right? So I do expect improvement in the special teams area.
I don't know how to take this one. I was told Ackerman wasn't good reading the comments.
Oh. Anything the Falcons do is not good, right? Anything the Falcons do isn't good.
Oh,
so
man.
I wouldn't read too much into it.
Right. Our bro saying the bag is in the building. What is going on, man? But the other hiree that has me excited is Robert Prince. Robert Prince did cut his teeth with the Atlanta Falcons back in 2004 as he held a couple hats. He assisted as a quarterback coach, a running backs coach, a tight ends coach, I believe also an offensive line coach to some degree there. But, he helped with Michael Michael Vick's development, if you want to label it that. And one thing that they both got in common is two left-handed quarterbacks. So what can Robert really bring to the table in that regard? But some guys that he has, coached throughout his career at the wide receiver spot. You think of names like Jalen Waddle, Kenny Galladay, Golden Tate, Megatron, CD Lamb. So Robert Prince has had success in all the stops that he's been around, and now he comes back to Atlanta as the wide receiver coach. As we all know, we do have talent, right, with Draco. Darnell Mooney, we don't know if he's coming or going. We may see an overhaul at the position, whether that be through free agency, whether that be through the draft. We don't know. But I'm sure that, we'll find answers out soon to some of the questions that we do have. But Robert Prince comes back to Atlanta as wide receiver coach. Your thoughts real quick on the hiring of Robert Prince.
I think the track record speaks for itself because, if you look at Kenny Galladay, right? He helped Kenny Galladay earn that contract, and then he disappeared.
And he disappeared.
He disappeared after that. And,
absolutely.
I think any coach would have a success with Megatron, but he was there, so he got to see the body of work of a Hall of Fame wide receiver, coaching CeeDee Lamb. So he's coached some guys, Golden Tate, players like that. So I like the hire. He's got that viral clip when Jalen Hyatt was coming through the ranks at Tennessee, and he kind of gave Jalen Hyatt the honest truth, like use your ability, use your speed, and Hyatt took to like, well, I can run routes too, and he was kind of like,
kind of caught him off guard by that question a little bit.
He's like, I don't know about that, but you're a speed demon. Like, I'm giving you kudos. Use your speed, and I think that kind of upfrontness, I think, kind of speaks to also what Stefanski's looking for, right? Holding people accountable, the coaches and the players. So I think Robert Prince fits the mold of what Stefanski wants from his coaching staff.
That's awesome. And that's one other thing that Stefanski and Matt Ryan both spoke about in the press conference is having coaches that accept accountability and are also willing to hold others accountable for their job. So I like the structure of coaches that the Falcons are building up. One thing that we still don't know is a question by Gabriel here. Have they announced a new QB coach yet? No, they haven't, but there are some names being floated around, one being Bill Musgrave, another, fellow that was here with Atlanta in the same years, if I'm not mistaken, as Robert Prince. Could be a guy that, makes his way back to Atlanta.
I haven't heard.
Bill Musgrave? Bill Musgrave.
Okay.
Yeah.
For a quarterback coach. Okay.
Yeah. Yep. As a QB coach.
Go ahead.
No. Go ahead. You good?
I was going to say, we still have quite a bit of coaches, like, slots to fill. Like we do. Like, the one person that I don't see on our website anymore is old Jerry Gray. He's not there anymore. I think he might be gone. And, hey, everyone, he's a fan favorite, but it happens, right? We still need a pass game coordinator, I think, on offense. We need a run game coordinator, right? Who's going to do that? Is it going to be Reese? Is it going to be Callahan? Is it going to be Petrie? Like, who's it going to be? So we still have Stefanski still needs to fill a couple slots, and quarterback coach is one of those.
Very cool. I think Wallace Smith, what's going on, Wallace? He says, I think Musgrave is the QB coach for the Packers. I don't know. I just saw that name thrown around, so I don't know if
no, he's not, because the quarterback's coach for the Packers just got hired as the OC for the Eagles. So he just got a promotion. Who the quarterback's coach was, I can't remember his name. He's a young offensive coordinator as well, 33 years old.
Not Gerard Johnson.
No, that's the Texans. Where is
Texans,
it?
Okay.
Hold on. Please hold. I'll find it. It literally happened as I was leaving work. And I remember thinking, like, that's who they went with? I mean, this is kind of like Sean Mannion.
Oh, yeah, okay. He was a former QB. Yes.
Yeah, so Sean Mannion is now the OC of the Eagles. So he was the quarterback's coach. So Musgrave, I don't know what position he holds with the Packers, but it was not quarterback's coach.
Gotcha. All right. Now, you mentioned some names there. Jerry Gray, right? Tough, right? We got him from the Packers, but he did have an understudy to him in Justin Hood in Green Bay that followed him to Atlanta. So I think Jerry Gray stepping aside is more saying that Justin Hood is ready to assume the large role that, Jerry Gray provided for Atlanta. The Falcons secondary was good. They were aggressive. Every bit of the attack style that was predicated on this defense. So was the secondary, very opportunistic last year. So yeah, we retained Justin Hood, and we retained a fan favorite in Nate Ollie, who with Jeff Ulbrich, man, that is so clutch. That is so clutch. I mean, for him, I'm more excited and happy for it because it feels like he's been on teams 1 year. He's with the Texans, then he goes to the Colts or vice versa, and then he's with the Falcons. Now he's going to be with the Falcons for, 2 years in a row. So I'm excited to see what leap he takes, not just, with the Falcons, but as a head coach himself, right? How does he get better from year 1 to year 2? And it also helps that retaining Jeff Ulbrich, these guys can really start, just piping down a plan for these defensive linemen and how they can get better in 26, which is a position that also might see a small overhaul also going into free agency and the draft. Lee Hunter, as we all know, is a fan favorite. For all of us. So imagine what we can do, or imagine what these coaches can do with a guy like Lee Hunter out of Texas Tech, all 6'3", 330 pounds of him. But yes, you just your reaction really on Justin Hood and Nate Ollie coming back to Atlanta.
I think it's huge wins. I think that's part of the continuity, right? I think Ulbrich probably got to say, like, hey, do we want to retain these guys? And Ulbrich, probably said, hell yeah, right? Let bring back Nate Ollie, who's built this rapport, this great relationship with that young core of defensive linemen. Same thing with Justin Hood, right? AJ Terrell. You've got young players like Kobe Bryant, who's been very vocal about year 2. So it's always good to have that continuity, especially when you had success the year prior, because you can build off of that, right? Your philosophy has been established. Now let's add to that so we can continue to improve. So I think it's home runs, right? I think we were all holding our breath, especially for Nate Ollie, like, please don't go.
Yeah.
Once that notification came in, it was amazing. So I mean, if he has another successful year like he did last year with our defensive front, I would expect him to probably land himself a defensive coordinator job the following year.
So with these two coaches coming back, Nate Ollie, Justin Hood, obviously there's questions in free agency that need to be answered in terms for the Falcons. Who comes back, right? I'm sure that we'll dive into a show, right down the line, bringing back free agents who we're going to elect to keep, who we're not going to keep. But I think players that are up for free agency on the defensive side, who knows, man? They might take lesser money to stay because these guys seem to be more for the, player coaches than anything. So the monetary portion of it might not be all that important right now, but I'm sure that we'll dive into that show maybe next week or so. But Brandon Brass, man, appreciate you, man. Not only got GM, but Bears got no comp picks for it.
Did you know that? You want to know why they didn't get comp picks for it?
Because of the Terry Fontenot situation?
No, because Matt Ryan is technically the leader of the front office. So it's technically not a promotion for Ian Cunningham. Even though the title changed, it's technically not a promotion, so they don't get comp picks for it.
So I read something different. So I read if you go back to back on minority GMs or hiring of, your team is not on the hook for the second round to give up a compensatory picks. Like the first time around, we gave up, I think, a third rounder, right? Was it to New Orleans because we hired Terry Fontenot?
Maybe. I don't remember, but from what I read, all the big, insiders did say we do not, they're not on the hook. They don't get those comp picks.
Even better. Even better.
Who do y'all think, this is a good question, replaces Kyle Smith, right? Where'd he go? Miami, right? He's with the Dolphins.
He went to Miami. Yep.
Good spot for him. Good spot for him to continue to develop. We wish him well. We all think very highly of Kyle, but give me your thoughts on who you think.
Yeah, right now I really don't know. And I know that Bob Quinn was brought in, but he was brought more in as a coach or advisor to the coach. Bob Quinn, a guy that has He has experience with the Lions, not good, but in this role that Kyle Smith is leaving behind. But right now, I would have to look within to see who we can internally bring up as a guy really to help out Ian in this situation, or just, maybe not, just leave it voided for now, right?
You could, but I could see them bringing in Joe Douglas, former Jets GM,
Jets.
and allowing him to be the assistant, kind of work
Yep.
his way back to potentially being a GM again. There's some connections there.
You know what? That's so true. You know why? Because my God, who was the guy for the Chiefs? Scott Pioli, because he was helping Thomas Dimitroff, and then he branched off. I see the situation. I see the
So there could be connections there where you got a guy with experience who's got connections. It's all about connecting the dots in the NFL, because just like anything in the world, it's not about what you know, it's who you know. And that's something. I'm not saying it's a bad thing for Joe Douglas. It's good that he's not the GM, but I wouldn't be upset if he was the assistant, right? Just kind of like, hey, this is what I've seen. This is kind of how talks go. Even though Ian has kind of already started doing that when he was the assistant for Ryan Poles.
Another question here from Wallace. He says, "Do y'all know what's the word with Ruttenberg decision yet?"
No, I know. I thought Salah hired his defensive coordinator. I think he did, but he also did announce he will be calling the defense in Tennessee.
Salah, right?
Salah is going to be calling the defense, which I didn't know this. Did you know Salah has like 6 or 7 kids? I did not.
I saw
know
the picture today,
I was
bro.
like, holy smokes, man! Kudos to Mrs. Salah. Hey,
bro, dead ass. One of the
work,
kids,
right?
for real, man. One of the kids looks exactly like
his dad or her dad.
No. Fucking Aaron Hernandez. You got to see that picture. It's fucking crazy.
God. Why would you do that? Why? Anyways, but as far as Ruttenberg goes, he's still on the Falcons website. His position hasn't changed. We are hoping that he doesn't leave. I think he was a very big part on why the secondary did so well in their coverages. So as far as we know, he is not leaving. While you're looking at
it says Denard Wilson. Is it Denard Wilson?
Denard Wilson.
Yes, Denard Wilson.
Who was he with?
I will tell you right now. That's crazy. They don't even have info on that.
The deal with Braylon Trice was he tore the same knee.
Yeah.
We know he tore his ACL again. Same knee. That's why he was out. So he's still under contract, guys. He's got 2 years left on his rookie deal. But it's not it has not been good luck for him as of right now.
Oh no, I'm sorry. Hold on. So Titans part ways with defensive coordinator Denard Wilson. I'm sorry.
Oh, okay, yeah. So that's
what
I thought.
So I don't know if they have one yet. Then
he could do a Dan Quinn and not have one. He could. Let's see. Based on these talks, if Falcons defense repeats this year or better, be prepared to start losing coaches. I mean, that's with anything in the league. I think it's just a matter of getting the assistants you have on your staff ready. Scouting other teams' assistants, scouting teams that are struggling, that are going to part ways with their coaches because they're clearing house, right? That's where you seize the opportunity to bring those coaches in there. As far as Simeon Barrow, no, I don't think.
Oh no, man, he's out of football, bro.
He's out of football right now. It doesn't mean he won't get an opportunity. Come training camp, mini camp, he'll probably sign with someone, maybe us. I don't know. We'll have to see.
Yeah. Red Swarm, shout out to you, man. He says it's really going to be important to work with Penix on his mechanics, and that's going to be predicated on how ready he is going to be by April 7th. That it was revealed on April 7th is when we start the off-season workouts, man. So we shall see, man.
That was poor wording by Zach.
It was.
Very poor wording, because if he posted the clip.
Yep.
And nowhere did Michael say, yeah, I'll be ready by April. Nowhere did he say that, right? Maybe somewhere he didn't post. Oh, shoot.
Shout out Brandon, man. Thank you, man.
I appreciate you. Nowhere did Michael say he would be ready. Now, he did say he thinks he'll be ready for week 1. That's his goal, and that's what he's shooting for. But ultimately, it's up to the doctors and to decide, hey, yes, his knee's good. He's moving well. He's moving as he should. He's got strength, right? Because you guys got to think, when you can't use that leg, you got to re-strengthen all the muscles around the knee, lower and upper part of the leg. So he's got to be able to move and hold that strength. And if, the doctors clear him, hey, great. But I say, take your time, young man. You've been down this road. You know how to rehab, right? That's the joke right now. But we want you here long term because we see the ceiling that you can reach, and it's a matter of getting to the ceiling and staying there. Oh,
good stuff.
Barrows with the Dolphins. Good enough.
Fitting, man. Right? Came from
Florida. Oh, Ruttenberg.
Yeah, man. He was key, man. He was key to the secondary, or to this pass defense. Any word on Barrett Root? Is he still with the Falcons, the linebacker coach?
Yes, he is. He's on the website, as far as I know.
He's on the website?
Yeah,
now they're on the website.
Now, the outside linebackers coach is not there.
Jock Smith? Is that his name?
He's not, I guess. Yeah, he's not there.
Huh. Damn.
Yeah, I don't know. There's a lot going on, right? Stefanski probably needs to get his staff completely together before the combine, in my opinion.
Yeah, I think it'll be completed. I think so.
I'm sure he's been working the phones, start talking to people, talking to Matt. Now he's got Ian, who, speaking of which, if you guys didn't know, Senior Bowl is this week. Ian Cunningham is there. So your Falcons GM has already been looking at the Senior Bowl players firsthand.
That's awesome, man. And the Falcons do have a track record of drafting guys right from the Senior Bowl, a couple years, many years ago. Rashid Hageman. Trufant was there. Robert Alford was there. A couple other guys, so the Falcons have dabbled into that scene to get their players. So good stuff, man. Anything you want to add? We're at 46 minutes right now.
It'll be interesting. I've done my spreadsheet on what I think the perfect offseason looks like for the Falcons. It's getting ready I'm ready to put it together, and now it's interesting. Now I have a full picture, right? Because I was basing it off, who I thought might be the GM, which is Ian Cunningham, right? And now he is that. So we'll get to this offseason will be very, very interesting on who they value. I think the first move, the writing's on the wall. Kirk will get cut. He will get cut. But it's a matter of do you bring him back after that a Fletcher Cox situation? So we're off to a hot start to the offseason, right? It was very deflating, right? Not our first choice when Raheem Morris was hired and Terry Fontenot was retained, right? A lot of fans were not happy about that. So then you clear house, and now you do this. Hey, man, the sky's the limit right now. The expectations are up here. Mike Vrabel, Ben Johnson, Liam Cohen.
They set the bar, man.
They set the bar, right? It's not impossible to do. The roster was there. I didn't think the Jaguars would be nearly as good as they are. I thought the Bears might be with their investments, right? Let's see the type of investments that Ian Cunningham and Matt Ryan and Kevin Stefanski are willing to do. It'll be really interesting to see if we make trades for players or make a splash in free agency, right?
Every
GM has a splash, right? And this we'll see how we start, right?
Yeah. Well, like for Terry, right? I would say Jesse Bates was his splash. We'll see if Ian has his own Jesse Bates style signing when free agency kicks off. They definitely are re-signing Pitts. What do you feel about this? Is this something
I think if he's willing to take a good contract, not top money, I think he re-signs, right? He's still young, right? That was his knock coming out of college, right? He was still so young, still raw to learn, right? Got to learn how to play tight end at the NFL level. And Kevin Stefanski thrives at highlighting the tight end. So if you have a playmaking tight end like Kyle, it makes sense to bring him back, right? You bring back another focal point. You still have Charlie under contract. Who's going to be your third tight end? I think that's the biggest question mark because 13 personnel, it's the craze right now under center.
It is.
Personnel, right? Look at what the Seahawks are doing with A.J. Barner, Elijah Arroyo. Who's the other? I don't even know who the other kid. The Rams, Colby Parkinson. Tyler Higbee, even they drafted a rookie to be a part of that, right? And part of the Falcons trade with them. So that I think who the third tight end is going to be crucial. No, I don't think David Njoku should come here. I don't think he's the greatest blocking tight end. He's older. I'd rather sign a younger Kyle Pitts, let him have a go in this offense. So we'll see.
It's definitely exciting. It really is, man. I'm excited, man. So I'll be honest, man. This was good. 50 minutes. We still have about another 10 minutes to go. How about we do something a little bit different these last 10 minutes?
What you got for me?
Let's open up the chat.
Okay. What do you got for me, chat?
Open up the chat. We'll let y'all come in for just a few minutes. Keep it under 2 minutes. Question you wanted to add on to a topic that we already spoke about, you're more than welcome to. But just please, out of respect, just keep it about 2 minutes. And I'm gonna drop the link in the chat now, and we'll see.
Come on,
got a friend.
I got Feline taking questions, bro. Like,
yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, man. Definitely exciting, brother.
So, what did you just drop? People coming in here?
Oh, we'll see. We'll see if anybody wants to come in.
All right, let's see who comes in. Hey, keep it professional. Right? Ask legit questions.
I want Bones to come in here. Come on, Bones.
He ain't coming in here.
Oh, man. But yeah, so Senior Bowl, a lot of great, discussion being had with certain players. The Jackson kid out of Florida State, obviously Lee Hunter, your guy, Jacob Rodriguez, looking every bit of the playmaker that he is. He made himself some money, down in practices and stuff like that, punching the ball out, creating turnovers. Pretty fun, man.
That's the name of the game, right? That's what we focused on last year, is creating turnovers. Now you gotta do that at the linebacker level.
Absolutely.
Right? You have one linebacker under contract, and that guy only has 1 year left. So what do you do? So that'll be a focal point, right? Whether it's the draft or free agency, right? And I agree with Craig. The big splash could be Tyler Linderbaum. And dude, that jet better be sitting in Baltimore's airport the minute
free agency opens, man.
We're gonna have to outbid Harbaugh and what that relationship looks like, and sell him on the running scheme, because the Giants don't have an OC. They were expecting Todd Monken, and then Monken took the Cleveland job.
Yep.
Right. So it'll be interesting to see, right? You get the opportunity to play next to Chris. Caleb's coming back. Bergeron, I know there's some mixed feelings there. He had a down year, but, he's still a guy that you want to line up next to. You get to block for Bijan Robinson, right? You got to block for Derrick Henry. Now you get to block for Bijan Robinson. You get to get coached under Bill Callahan. You get to get an offense that Kevin Stefanski is envisioning, right? So there's a lot of upside there. Does anyone know Linderbaum's agency?
No.
Hold on.
Oh, God.
Hold on. Connect the dots, right?
Oh, boy. And if it's the agency that we've had a lot of success with, and there's a bunch of guys under that agency here in Atlanta, it could be.
Let's see. Who is it? Football agent. I typed in agent, and then it brings me up real estate. It doesn't say. You would think this is like public knowledge. Hold on.
Yeah.
Does anyone have that info?
I think.
Hold on.
Neil Cornrich, NC Sports.
Hold on. Cornrich, NC.
He did splash her. Bergeron gave up the least amount of pressures on our O-line last year. He had a solid year. He only gave up one sack, too. And, these guys had fits. You know, the interior of this Falcons offensive line this past year, they had to play some great defensive tackles, man. Guys that can really get after it, man. So if by all accounts they had a little bit of a down year, hey, so be it, man. But yeah, Bergeron definitely still an ascending player. He Tehal says NC Sports.
NC Sport. That's what I have here. So I'm trying to find NC Sports.
Jones Bones says we need to save Tyler Linderbaum from an endless pit of playing wide zone.
Hey, he's not wrong.
He's not wrong at all. Yep, Ledford is now the offensive line coach with Baltimore.
There you go. Yeah, Tyler Linderbaum. There he is. Yep, NC Sports. I'm trying to find other guys.
Yeah, so Brandon gives us a name. Neil Cornrich, NC Sports. That's exactly who his agent is.
But who does he? Let me see. Who does Neil Cornrich represent? Oh, here we go. Spotrac apparently has the agencies. Oh, okay. Hold on. Search. Oh, this is legit. I didn't know they had this.
What do you see? What do you got?
Hold on. Let me find the name. Neil. There he is. Neil Cornrich. He only represents 2 players in the NFL.
Really?
The other guy is a Tennessee player, Mason Kinsey, who plays wide receiver. I guess he's a smaller agency, man.
Brandon's saying TJ Hawkinson, maybe he represents him too.
Yes, he does represent TJ Hawkinson. Looks like he's big on the Buckeyes, where he went to Berry College, which I don't know where that is.
Ooh, I don't know about this one. I'll get to this one, but Rod E has one too. He said, "I can't hop on due to working on right now, but what do you think about going to for Pierce in free agency and drafting another wide receiver with that second rounder? That would fix the wide receiver issue." I've been long on the Alex Pierce train, but I look at it this way, man. Draco's due. Then you're gonna flood so much cap into the wide receiver spot. You might just want to look at the draft. I'm a big fan of Ted Hurst, man. Ted Hurst has exploded onto the scene from Georgia State. Yeah, man, I'm loving his tape. 6'3", man. The kid can go vertical. And he can do it all. He can give you what Pierce is doing right now, man. And it definitely will cost the Falcons a whole lot less. So that's a name to look out for. Rod says, you think we go after Trey Diggs? I'm thinking Trayvon Diggs, maybe the corner?
Yeah, no.
I hope not. Yeah.
No, he's past his prime. He's torn his knee. He's torn an Achilles. Like, nah, he's he's past it, man.
Oh, Bones, ever since I put Ted Hurst in my timeline, he keeps going to Fred Durst.
Oh my gosh!
Because it reminds him of that. Yeah.
NFL. Where is this? I hate when I can't find information I'm looking for.
Splash says, would y'all take a chance on Perkins out of LSU in the 4th round?
Yes.
From what I saw, yes.
Yes.
He can cover. He has speed.
Yes.
Oh man. You know who he kind of reminded me of when I was watching him move? Jeffrey Bossa from Oregon. When Jeffrey Bossa was coming out.
I like Bossa coming out.
Yeah, I did too, out of Oregon. I think it's just Perkins is a little bit bigger than Bossa.
He is, and he can play the edge a little bit.
Yeah.
Brandon, yep. I found it. Linderbaum is Neil Cornrich. For whatever reason, because he's not under contract, he wasn't pulling up on the list. But market value, what are they? Visual breakdown. What's his market value?
Linderbaum? Probably like 19.
17.7.
17?
And that would put him just above Cam Jurgens and just below Creed Humphrey.
Whoa.
I think that to me is fair.
Yeah.
Because
just the names, I forgot who was up there. Creed Humphreys.
Yeah.
I forgot that he got big money. So
listen to me. No. No.
Oh man, yeah, not
I'd rather take a shot on Greg Newsome, who's going to be a free agent.
Thank you. Me too.
I'd rather take a shot there. He can play outside. He can play inside. He plays better in zone scheme.
He does.
Which Ulbrich runs a little bit more man match, but there's nothing to say he can't get coached up. You know, and connections there, right? Hey, former Brown, Kevin Stefanski.
Yep, and he was recently traded to
the Jaguars. Avon talks about, because Avon has said on his threads that stop with the Tariq Woolen talk and stop with the CJ Daniels. No, I'm out.
CJ Daniels UGA, the linebacker?
No, CJ Daniels, the wide receiver out of Miami.
Oh, out of Miami. Oh,
the one that said he would love to play with.
Sorry, CJ Allen. Never mind.
Yeah, he would love to play with Michael Penix. No, guys. No.
Yeah, no, man. Oh, man. It's crazy, man. But man, we've gone over the hour mark. We was hoping that somebody would jump in here, but that's okay. Next time, you guys are more than welcome on the platform for sure, man. But Bro Talk, tell the folks where they can find you, man.
All short form content, guys. As always, at Dirty Bird Central, your TikTok, Instagram Reels, and YouTube Shorts. Long form videos coming back. I'm working on the Falcons' perfect off season. Going to try and record it tonight and then edit it over the weekend. Hopefully get it to you guys by next week now that we have a GM. And then daily tweets at BK2 Why? Because that's the name.
Oh, wait. Did you change it? You did change it. You finally changed the handle.
No, I didn't.
No, wait. Where the fuck have I been? Anyways. A long one. It's been a long day. It's been a long day. Of course, man, I'm your boy Berto, host of the 95 North Falcons Talk Show, and your other half of Reporting Eligible that comes on live every Wednesday, 9 p.m. Next week, we hope to have another banger of an episode. Maybe we'll do free agents for the Falcons now that we have a GM. There you go. But yes, you can also find me starting on Sunday. I'll be back on Bleacher Report. That starts from now until from February up until July. All short form content will be delivered on the Bleacher Report app. But until then, man, we'll see you guys on Wednesday night, 9 p.m. Be safe, and we'll see y'all soon, man. Peace. Have a good week, everybody.